tires, light the fires. Let's find some wild dogs. I like it. Get the safari on the go. I'm just going to spend another minute here so that we can take in a bit of the scenery, but more importantly so we can listen, because wild dogs have a very distinctive hooting call when they try and call each other if they are on the move. But we would even be alerted to them by things like potentially hyenas. So having the chance to have a little listen is very advantageous before you jet off early in the morning, especially if you don't have tracks. So the red crest we don't really get to see a lot. There are many different factors that might influence a female choosing a male. Some of it might be size, some of it might be coloration. Some of it might be how loud he calls, how frequently he calls. Each bird will kind of have its own preference, but it'll also be species specific. In some birds it's purely plumage, things like a red-headed weaver, and then that might be combined with how well a male builds a nest. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. So if he does this enough, he might do that rocket display.
We're going to have the vehicle in shot. But yeah, she's not, she's exposed, she wants to be in this position because she's nicely elevated. She's on a termite mound. She wants to listen out. So we're sitting on Cheetah Cut Line, and now she's even elevated a little bit more on this termite mound. It's perfect for her because now if she's contact calling and she's calling for her pride members, it's much easier being on top and actually being in the dips, in the valley. So this is a perfect place. That's why many times you'll find lions roaring and all that on airstrips. Why? Because it's open, it's really elevated areas, and it's perfect. They're very clever to that. They really always go on to these top areas if they're trying to locate other members or if it's territorial calling. Very interesting. I think I always see this happening. It's a perfect example. Plus now she can see around.
Katlego, no, vultures don't really hunt. They scavenge. They are one of our best scavengers out here and one of the most vital parts of the ecosystem. So what they do is they fly around looking for predators or carcasses, and then whatever tidbits they can steal, probably when there are no other vehicles in a predator sighting, because you don't want to disturb the sighting. So it's quite an interesting one, how voices are picked up very differently by animals. It's also one of the things that you take into account when you're doing walking safaris. So when you're doing a walking safari, if you have an encounter with an animal, people have very different strategies for